Hi, this is Travis Powell, and this is my AEP 879 Practicum presentation. This is my table of contents, introduction, philosophy statement, personal goals, activity logs, closing summary, bibliography, and the summative evaluation form. Here's a little bit of my personal introduction, where I went to school, got my schooling, my education at, my professional. Currently I serve as physical education, strength and conditioning teacher, and I coach track and field at the high school level. My family: Heather, my son Trevor is a junior, daughter Morgan is an 8th grader, my daughter Mallory is a 6th grader, and our dogs: Bear is the little black one, and Duke is the big white one. My philosophy statement for leadership is: first, I feel a school should focus on academic excellence to educate all students to their maximum potential, provide a variety of opportunities to learn and develop by reaching different learning styles. Leader must be able to set clear expectations and communicate those expectations to staff, students, parents, and community members. A leader must be able to model behavior needed to build positive and relevant relationships. My goals were to work closely with school administration to gain a greater knowledge in organization and supervision, obtain knowledge on issues surrounding the school district, understand and apply techniques to evaluate staff more effectively, gain practical knowledge, experience, and application in building leadership. Starting off with the activity log, the high school, that's my main area, and so that's where most of my activities came from. A student improvement team designed to help students who are having academic difficulties. I was in charge of coordinating volleyball matches. We had 3 home matches. A lot of time in those. I was the person people came to with any issues. There's a picture of our students competing in one of those matches. I was also responsible for organizing our volleyball tournament at the high school level. Again, any problems existed, issues, I was the main person in charge of those. Also in charge of our league volleyball tournament. That's the Southern Plains Iroquois Activities Association. We host that at Kiowa County High School. So I spent a lot of time in getting that tournament ready and making sure that it's run effectively and efficiently. And I enjoy doing it. Never was a big volleyball fan until I got here. So there's our student section. I'm sitting down in the corner, and our girls were fortunate enough to win the tournament, and so I'm handing out the banner and medals to our students. Participated in league meetings. We formed league meetings in this time span. Responsible for finding volleyball, sub-varsity volleyball games and officials. We do not have cuts at our school, as I'm sure a lot of schools that are smaller do. We had about 35 girls play volleyball, and so that meant finding a lot of sub-varsity games and making sure those were well run. Hallway and lunch supervision. Our upstairs hallway I took care of during lunch. Did that on a daily basis. Home football games. I was responsible for information from the visiting teams, officials, pregame activities, halftime activities, making sure announcements were ready in the press box. I took care of all that. And there's a picture of a couple of our students performing. That's actually my son, so I thought I could use him in this. Junior varsity football games. Again, I was responsible for the activities of those, and for away games I traveled and I was our acting administrator. To go along with all these activities, transportation. I was responsible for transportation schedule for all of our fall and now winter activities. Homecoming parade organizer, just making sure floats were lined up in the correct order, and basically the main thing was keeping people safe, keeping our students safe. We're a small enough school. All of our kids participate from the elementary level up through the high school level. activity workers sign up in communication for all the home activities. I was responsible for finding workers, making sure that they knew what they were doing when they were doing it. And I also have a spreadsheet created to track the time that they worked so that our district office clerk could pay those workers. Coaching evaluations, something that was good for me to do. Sat down with my principal and we evaluated our coaches, and we got together and kind of came up with one evaluation, and then we brought in the individual coach, and I was able to sit in with that conference. And I'll talk more about this evaluation later. Able to participate in classroom walkthroughs with the high school principal. He pretty much gave me the iPad and said have at it, and so that was good. We went back and discussed what we saw. There's a screenshot from the first kind of the home page of the walkthrough form. Again, here recently with the start of basketball season, we have close to 30 on our boys and girls team, and so I was responsible for finding games for those individuals so that those kids can compete. Elementary log, sat in on IEPing for a junior high student. Been in those before, but this was just kind of had a different process, just kind of took this on in a different light. Participated in a migrant education program with our junior high elementary principal, and here is a picture from that workshop. We don't have a lot of migrants, but what we do would be kind of the German Mennonite, and have to have programs available for those students. Responsible for administrating the elementary band music concert, and there's a picture of that event. Just make sure everybody knew where they were supposed to be and any questions people had. Classroom walkthroughs, as I was able to do this with our junior high elementary. I went to couple of each, a couple junior high classes, a couple elementary classes with the principal, and I had my own iPad and can make my own observations, and then we compared and contrasted what we saw, and so that was good. Good activity, good exercise. And again, this is kind of the same picture that you saw earlier, the walkthrough form. Observed and interviewed preschool classroom teacher. That was a very good activity. The coaching evaluation tool that I showed earlier, I was responsible for coming up with that. Our Board of Education towards the end of last year wanted us to come up with something that coaches could be evaluated on, and principals and superintendents kind of asked me to do that, and so I did. And so I kind of came up with this form, and we got together, visited about it, made some changes, came up with the form that everyone was happy with, and I was happy with it as well. Just kind of neat to use a form through the district that I came up with, and so that was neat. Attended Board of Education meetings. These are always interesting. Should do that all the time. Administrative meeting. Our administrators meet weekly, once a week. The district superintendent, the high school principal, the junior high elementary principal of our district, and then also the superintendent principal of the Haviland district. They come together and communicate about upcoming events. A+ meeting. That's a A+ network. It's just a collection of schools that use ITV in our area, and they had a meeting, and I was able to attend that. And then another very good activity for me was a superintendent interview. Always enjoy interviewing, talking to our superintendent, because he thinks differently than I do, and it really opens me up to some different thoughts, different avenues, and so I enjoyed that experience. Just looking back and reflecting on the Practicum experience, when I began, I was pretty intimidated before even knowing and understanding what would be involved in the coursework. And then once discovering what the expectations were, I was even more intimidated. I was concerned about finding enough different activities and activities that would qualify, and also concerned about the task and time spent on this presentation project. You know, it's like most other people, I have a lot of duties that I'm responsible for. And so taking this class and all my duties, and I was taking another course that was actually an 8-week course. You know, I was just worried about the workload and that I was going to experience with all these activities. Some of my prejudgments were matched and some of them different from my actual experience. I felt like I had a hard time getting the variety of activities that I wanted. I was able to attend a workshop with our elementary administrator and wanted to attend another regarding classroom walkthroughs, but I just kind of got the feeling that the administration didn't want me to take time out of the classroom if at all possible. And I understood that. I just wish I'd have been able to benefit. I think I could have benefited with more freedom in that regard. Um, the elementary activities were a little easier to come about than I thought. I struggled with the district activities just a little bit, but I felt the ones that I did participate in were very worthwhile and helpful in my experience. And as I progressed through this time, I was able to see that a number of the things that I do are already administrative in nature. And one thing I found myself doing as I progressed through this experience, and I was just looking at issues or episodes in our school and thinking through them with an administrative approach. You know, something that I haven't really done a whole lot in the past. But, you know, we had an incident recently, and from the beginning I could tell that there was a lack of communication or some misinterpretation that had occurred. And as the situation unfolded, I was just thinking about, you know, what I would do differently if this was me in the administrative position. And I thought that was interesting that as I worked through this, my mind kind of shifted in that regard. On-the-job experience is vital to any position, but I also think those observations help form me into the type of administrator I become as well. And this is directly tied back to part of my leadership philosophy, being able to set clear expectations and communicate them effectively. And as I looked at the goals for the practicum experience that I had, I believe I was able to fill each one successfully and gain a deeper understanding of each one as well. I was able to work with the administration and gain knowledge about organization, supervision, and just having a practical knowledge by working beside them, you know, in the recorded activities, and then also just through day-to-day conversations that, you know, that aren't recorded within this activity log. The coach's evaluation, creating that, and classroom walkthroughs were vital because that gave me the opportunity to apply evaluation techniques that I wanted to do through this. And to go along with those, I was able to implement technology that I was familiar with, as well as work with learn the new software through the classroom walkthrough evaluation process. Overall, I feel like I gained valuable knowledge and practice during my practicum experience. As I stated earlier, this experience put me in a position to think like the administrator that I would like to be. And here's my list of bibliographies, just resources that I was able to look at through this practicum experience. And a few other resources that I used as well to help me complete this practicum coursework. There is my summative evaluation form signed by my principal, and then he just made comment on the back about my organization and attention to detail. And so that is my presentation and over my practicum. So thank you.